hopefully everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. This is a last minute thing. I apologize. I'm trying to do this last minute. It's been a very busy weekend. Live. So far, no one is viewing. So tell me, can you hear me? Do I have audio? That's most important to me, is that I have audio. Hold on, I'll lower the camera. All right, can you all hear me? Truthfully, next year I would like to have the draft with at least most of the captains here in person. I had a mouse somewhere. I don't know what the hell to do with it. Anyway, yeah. Oh no, that was my intention. So you can hear me. Okay, cool. All right. Where the hell is the mouse at? Here we go. All right. Kenny and I intended to do a podcast reveal. We're still going to do that, not for this one. It just was too difficult. I had too many things going on, too many things that were happening right now, so I didn't get a chance to set everything up. And I hate doing stuff where it doesn't go right, such as the podcast, or excuse me, the stream on Friday. Really pissed me off that I didn't get the volume right. I still don't know what happened there. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to go over the matchups. So the matchups that happened, and I'm going to do them in order to the fictitious lane assignment. Lane 1, lane 2, lane 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, so forth and so on. This is to try to add, dramatic crap. Yes, do something like T-Pain, and trust me, we have ideas to do stuff like this for the draft. T-Pain had actually offered to do it at his house. We'll cook out. We can do it there, do it here, wherever. I would like to do the draft in person and make it a little more dramatic. I just think it adds to it. We're all doing this for fun. So anyway, I'm going to go to the second scene. This is the first result. It is Team Carl Williams versus Team Brownlee. Team Carl Williams wins 11-7. Now, if y'all remember, you get 1 point per bowler per game. There's 5, plus 1 for overall points for that game. Or excuse me, total pins for that game. So there's 6. There are 6 total points that you can get per game. 3 games, 18. We do not do total pins for series. We never did in the first 2 years. Will that maybe change? Possibly. We shall see. Anyway, so Dustin Williams took game 2, but Zach Cobb took games 1 and 3. Dietrich took the last game with a 259 over Zoombox 176, but Zoombox swept in the first 2 games. He shot 500. Well, no, excuse me, just under 500. House took 2 to Richard Crowley's 1. Carl swept Michael Brownlee. Game 2 was a little close. Brownlee just had a bad night at Bolero. Strangely enough, bowling with Carl against us on Wednesday night. Michael, shockingly enough, got lost 2-1 to Aaron. Game 2 was 205 to a 204. And then Aaron last game just went off and shot 278. So it's 2-1. The game. Let's see. Hold on. I can look at. Well, y'all are looking at that. Matchups. 1. Carl Williams. So game 1. Game 2. So Carl's team swept all 3 games. So we'll go on to the next one. Brian Brookins versus Team Sulu. You've got Maurice winning 2-1 over David Dorfman. You got him the last game because he fell off. We've got now. Excuse me, the sub for Corquise. I'm almost positive that's a mistake. The scores I believe are right, but I believe that he was not a sub. I got to confirm that with Sulu. And if you find errors, let me know. If you see something that's wrong after we're done and I post it, just let me know. I'll fix it. Everybody bowled it last year knows. Doesn't take long for me to correct it. So Michael Daly took 2-1 over Rodney. Game 1 was pretty close. Game 2 was not so close. Game 3 wasn't so close. Brian took 2-1 over Sulu. Sulu killed him game 1. Brian killed him game 2, and game 3 was wasn't even a contest. Josh Holloman beats Jeff Satterley. I pronounced, you shot Mike D. You shot 223, and I got 224. I'll correct it. It doesn't change it any. But I'll correct that. Thank you, Mike. Matter of fact, I'll correct it as we're talking. That way I don't forget. Let's see. We've won. And we've got Mike D. Michael Daly, 223. So when I post this, I'll have put out the correct one. You said 223 the first game. Oh, that would change everything. I apologize. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back to that and edit that. Let's see. I'll look up what was sent to me. And again, 213, yeah, I can see that was a typographical error. I'll verify that before I post it. What, 224. I'll verify that before I post it, but yeah. Thank you for telling me. Josh took 2-1 over Jeff, and Corquise took 2 from Albrecht. So right now I've got it as 12-6 for Brookins. It'll change it to 13-6, 13-5 once I correct that and update it. We have Team Selden versus Team Corley. This was the worst match of the week. When I mean by worst, it was the worst beat down. And literally within pins, it could have been an absolute sweep. Just happened to catch all of us on a really, really good week. And it's just brutal. So, Bill versus Jeremy. Bill had a bad week. He acknowledged it. Jeremy he didn't have a great week. He had a good week. And Jeremy it was just a massacre. Warren, not a terrible week. First game obviously was terrible. But I had a really good set. I used Monday nights at Strike Zone. I shoot 27, 43, 45. Really wasn't any close. Wasn't that close at all. And then Kenny swept Matthew Hollyland. Kenny shot a ridiculous number. And then Chelsea, you know, doing what Chelsea does. She takes 2 from Brandon Johnston. Lost the 1 point with 279 and 233. Did I skip 5 and 6? Did I? Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I apologize, Jonathan. I apologize. I'll go back to us in a minute. The next was Team Hollyland versus Team Lone Rangers, which was T-Pain. Bruce Vail took 2 from Tristan. Tristan shoots 269 to Bruce's 223. It was actually a close match minus game 3. Bruce shoots 24 to Tristan's 13. And then Bruce shoots 213 and Tristan just fell off with a $182. DJ, it's the worst I've seen him bowl. And, man, it's been a while since I've seen DJ bowl this bad. I had messaged him and asked him. And I can't remember what he said was the reason for it. But it's the worst I've seen DJ Roberts bowl in forever. I don't expect DJ to bowl like that maybe the rest of the season. T-Pain, who bowled pretty decent except for the second game, which was ironically the only game that DJ was even close. Chad, he had an off week. He's only bowling on Monday nights. He had a really bad week. He did win 2 points over Bo Bell, who Bo is obviously typically a really solid bowler. He didn't bowl terrible. He didn't have a great night. Jay Richards shot 195, 212, 256. Agnew beat him 216, 256 to 198. Oh, he hurt his back? Okay. I couldn't remember what it was. I knew he had told me. I just couldn't remember what it was. Again, as long as he's healthy, I don't see DJ shooting that ever again the rest of the season. And then Jonathan swept Chris Forrester. Chris didn't have a good night. Wasn't one of his finer nights. Jonathan also had a really good night. So Jonathan's had quite a few exceptional nights lately, especially at Strike Zone. So they won 10-8. Still not terrible. Just Lone Rangers ended up pulling that one out. All right, so we'll go back to Selden and Corley. Brandon Johnson, like I said, Chelsea took 2 from Brandon Johnston. Luckily, it wasn't the night Brandon Johnson was hot and had a 300. I think he was subbing that night, I think. And then it came down to the last game. Glenn Brown, I think, just had a kind of an off night. And he won 1 over Pitcock, who had a decent night except for his last game. So Corley was 15-3. But like I said, it was the worst blowout of the week so far. Well, of the week. Move on to our next match, which is Team Justin Williams versus Team Hardigan. The total score was 11-7 in favor of Team Justin Williams. Damian took 2 off of Trey Hicks. Trey also had a bad night. I don't know what was going on with Trey. Just wasn't his night. Had Michael Corder took 2 off of Donnie Dole. Zach took 2 off of Dylan. I don't know most of these guys. I don't know those 2 gentlemen. Jesse Hawkins doing what Jesse Hawkins does. Timmy just didn't have a good night. He just didn't have a good night. And then Justin doing what Justin's been doing a lot lately, striking. And Lucas, I mean, it's kind of hard to lose, you know. You got, what, a 750 and a 740? Is that what it comes out to? That's kind of a heartbreaker. It was 2-1 in favor of Justin. I mean, that's just really close. You got a 237 and a 234 game. You lose with a 248. That's hard. All right. Next is Team Robertson and Team Print Up. Team Print Up pulls the upset with Preston on vacation. Had to take 15 pins minus his average. He squeaks out 2 points over Chris Williams, who had a terrible week. Let's just be honest with you. Chris couldn't bowl if it was here or Bartlett, unfortunately. He was working through some stuff. I'm sure I'll hear about that tomorrow night. Whitey takes 2 from Danny Butler. Gavin takes 2 from Jeff Sanders. Brian Kirkendall, who didn't bowl bad, who bowled fantastic qualifying Friday night, until the last game, that is, shoots 300, I forgot what he shot, 817 for the first 3. Then shot a $190 game 4. And you just couldn't beat Aaron. 290 something, 300. So Brian, Justin Turner took 2 from Kirkendall, but it's kind of hard to lose with a 290 and a 257 game. That's just rough. All right. And then the last match, I don't know Landon, but he anchored against Donnie. Donnie just had Donnie actually did have a great night. He had 2 average games to beat Landon. So I don't know what happened with Landon. I don't know him. I know he bowls down at Diamond Head in the same league that Robert Albrecht bowls. So I don't know what happened down there. What did Robert bowl? I forgot. Robert bowled a. Robert didn't have a good night either. So I don't know if it was something with the lanes or just both of them had a bad night. And then we have our last matchup, which was Team Wing and Team Johnson. Team Wing wins 10-8. You got Preston Holliman, who had a really good night, taking 2 points from Richie Tharp. You had Matt Wing, who took 2 points away from Jacob Bradley. That was just a really kind of a bad matchup right there. Neither one of them bowled spectacular. Constantino had 1 really good game, and so did John Johnson. He had 1 really good game and 2 really bad games. He bowled a little bit better than Constantino did the first game, 187 to 182. Then we have Schubert, who had a sub. And for the life of me, I can't remember who his sub was. Schubert's out on for the next 2 weeks. So he's got a sub. I can't remember who his sub was. I've got it written down. I don't remember who it was off the top of my head. I can't remember who it was. And you got Roberto losing 2-1 to Mike Williams, who really only had 1 good game. So that was 10-8. So let's see. Do I have standings? Will they pop up? Let's see. Let me minimize this. All right. So the top half, Division 1, you've got. Let's see, do I have them all? Yeah, there we go. We got Brookins leading 12-11, or 12. That's going to change. I believe that was the team that had the screw-up I did for Mike Daly. So that's going to be 13 points. Carl Williams, they got 11. Lone Rangers have 10. Team Holloman's got 8. Brownlee's got 7. Sulu's got 6. And again, that was against Sulu, so Sulu will lose one. That'll actually be 5. Yeah, Team Selden, which is got 3. And remember now, everybody bowls of the 7 teams, 6 bowl each other within the conference. The oddball bowls the oddball from the other conference, which is why Selden bowled Team Corley. Damn dogs. So that's how close that division is. The next division, well, crap. Let me do that. There we go. You've got Team Corley with 15. Team Preston tied for second with 11 with Team Justin Williams. You got Team Wing with 10. Johnson 8. And we have a tie at the bottom for Robertson and Team Hardigan. So, again, it's week 1. Obviously, everybody's close. Nobody's out of it. Here are the matchups for the next weekend, or next week, starting today, which I think I only have one Sunday, and I believe that's daily. Daily is the only one I believe that is a Sunday. All right, so move this back down. All right. So we got Bruce versus Richie. Okay, so we have Lone Rangers versus Team Johnson. This is, you know what? I'm gonna call this as like it's either gonna be a tie or it's gonna be like a 8-10. I don't see anybody blowing anybody out on this. Honestly, I see it. And let's see, we've got Monday. What are you using, T-Pain? I don't remember. Someone say my and what? I don't get that, T-Pain. I don't know what you're trying to say. And don't try texting me. I ain't got my phone with me. So anyway, I see that being a close tie. Then you've got Team Hollyland versus Team Selden. Let's see. I see a 2-1, a 2-1. I'm not going to call Chad and Matthew because I've seen Matthew whack him. Chad, when he doesn't have... oh, you bowl Monday. So, you know, that takes care of Monday. I'm going to have Chris Forrester's. That's going to be a Monday. I'll know a lot of that match on Monday. All right. So, again, we'll move on to Team Holloman versus Team Selden. So, I see a 2-1, 2-1. So, that's 4. Okay. So, I'm going to call Brandon Johnson over Jay Rich. Only because I've seen Jay Rich. Yeah, you can whack him. But I know Brandon Johnston. And right now, I'm going to have to take Jonathan over Glenn Brown. So, I see that being a 2-2. 6. I see that being like a 13-5, 13-5 or a 12-6 in favor of Holloman. Then we got So then we got Brownlee versus Sulu. So we got Cobb versus Dorfman. So I'm gonna have to give that to David. I'm gonna have to give that one to David. I'm gonna say a 2-1 over Zach. This will be settled tomorrow night as well. Zumbach and Rodney Nash. Zumbach's been really hot. You know, Rodney's either going to be average or kill him. He doesn't really bowl bad too often. And especially since he's using Monday night, I'm not going to call that one. Sulu and Rich Crawley, I'm going to have to say Rich Crawley because it's at strike zone where he's bowling. Rich Crawley's pretty consistent. I'm going to have to give Brownlee the edge on this one. I'm going to have to give Aaron the edge on this. Only, I don't know what Corquise has been bowling. But Aaron is just, he's been really hot lately. Like ridiculously hot. So I'm going to have to give the edge to Team Brownlee. I'm going to say like 12 or 14 or 13 points to a, 4 to 5 for Team Sulu. So you have a team, the next one. You got Carl Williams versus Team Brookins. Oh. Two of these matchups are going to be great. So I'm going to give Maurice the edge over Carl Williams. Then I got Michael Daly versus Stencil, or Dietrich Stencil. That's a tough one to call because I know Mike can kill him, and Dietrich has his moments where he can just whack him. I'm going to say that's going to be a 2-1 as well. I just don't know which one's going to have the 2-1. House over Brian Brookins. So I'm actually going to say Brian on this. Last year I would have called Michael House. But I'm going to say Brian Brookins on this one, only because Michael's got so much on his plate right now, and I think he's only bowling one night a week. I think I might be wrong on that. So I'm going to say that favors Brian Brookins. Carl and Josh. So it's very hard for me to ever call against Josh. Grew up bowling with him. Josh has always been solid. Always been solid. I think Josh has been underrated most of his life because he just wasn't flashy. He didn't have an attitude. He didn't have the lane presence where he got emotional and whatnot. So I don't know. And of course, we all know Carl, but Carl right now is struggling. So I'm going to give the edge to Josh. I'm going to give the edge to Josh on that one. Then you got Michael and you got Robert Albrecht. So Michael admittedly said he's not bowling well at his house right now. I don't know if that's Michael trying to pull a fast one or whatnot. I don't know how Robert's been bowling. I know Robert's been running a lot of stuff lately, but he hadn't been bowling lately, or I don't know his bowling. He's been running a lot of events lately. So I'm going to have to give the edge to Michael only because he's Michael. I know what Robert's capable of, but I can't call that one. So I can't say anything against, towards Robert. So I'm going to have to say I favor Michael on that one. All right. We got our next one. Oh, crap. Team Wing versus Team Corley. So, obviously, typically I'm going to pull for Germ. Not because he's on my team, but because he's Germ. Especially over Preston. If this was last year, I'd call it easily. It's Germ over Preston. Preston's been rolling the ball really freaking good lately. He just shot his, I believe it was his first Sanction 300. I might be wrong on that. I know he had an 800 last year. I don't know if he had a Sanction 3. I almost want to say I'd give the edge to Preston on this one because right now he is kind of well, Michael's shooting 300. That wasn't in league, and that wasn't where he's bowling league. So, I mean, a video lesson. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you say there, Jonathan. I don't know what to say to that. I know I don't have anything that helps me with Robert. So I give it to Michael only because he's Michael. Michael shooting 300 is very unimpressive. It's just, he's got to shoot like 905 to impress me at this point in his life. Or win on TV. Okay, second sanction. I wasn't unaware of that. I wasn't certain if that was the case. So I'm actually going to have to kind of give it to Preston right now. I'm going to say like a 2-1. Matt Wing versus me. Okay, I'm going to be 100% honest here. Matt has, from what I've seen, had a little bit of struggle lately. Last week I averaged 240 last week for three leagues. and one of them was nothing but urethane, one ball I ain't never thrown before. I'm going to have to say a sweep. I'm going to say that's the first sweep I'm calling for the week. Not because it's me, just because Matt hasn't been bowling great that I'm aware of, and I've been bowling pretty decent, with the exception of the first 2 games Friday night. I shoot 360 games 1 and 2, and I shoot 520 the last 2 games. So, whatever. Constantino and Corley. I'm going to have to say that's going to either be a sweep or a 2-1 in favor of Kenny. I don't know that Kevin's been bowling much lately. What I've seen of his scores haven't been great. Kenny calls me weekly. We go over what he's bowled. We go over his equipment. We go over what's coming up, what to do with his equipment. And, yeah, okay, he's had a couple of not so great nights. But overall, Kenny's been bowling pretty well. So I'm going to have to give the nod to Kenny. I'm going to say it's at least a minimum of 2-1 in favor of Kenny. Chelsea versus Jason Connell. I can't really speak on Jason. I haven't seen him bowl anything great lately. I have, however, seen Chelsea beat the crap out of all the men damn near on Wednesday night. Again, not because she's my teammate. I'm going off of facts and what I know. I'm going to have to give Chelsea at least a 2-1 there. Then you got Robert versus Pitcock. That's going to be another I don't know. And here's why I say that. I've seen Roberto bowl really good. I've seen Roberto bowl really bad lately. Chad, I've seen bowl well. But I haven't seen him bowl bad. But I've seen him bowl well and then pretty decent. I'm going to call 2-1, but I'm not going to say who I called for. I'm going to see Team Corley wins 12 or 13 points. All right, next one. Team Hardigan versus Team Printup. All right, so I think Team Printup. Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Beats most of them on money. It's Chelsea. Anything got to be anything else got to be said? So we've got Team Hardigan versus Team Printup. So I'm going to call Damien with a 2-1 over Preston. 1, Damien's been bowling. 2, Preston has not been bowling. Damien's had a couple of, I wouldn't call them breakthroughs, but he's had a couple of good sets lately. So I'm going to say Damien. He's been taking his bowling a little bit more serious. He's, for lack of a better word, we'll say leveled up. He's been coming to Memphis a ton, which I got to give somebody like that a lot of respect for trying to improve their game. Driving all that far for league, I'll say this as well. I don't know how long it's been since this has happened in Memphis, if it happens anywhere else. We've had people travel from on Mondays and Wednesdays. I can't speak for any other league. And this is not a knock on any league or any house. Monday night has had Jonesboro, which is not a big deal because we've had Bob Trout for years on Wednesday night over at Billy's. So it's not the biggest deal, but it is new people. John Johnson, he comes over on Monday night from Jonesboro. Had a couple of guys from Tupelo. That is a little new. Now, we did have Jacob Bradley, I believe is Tupelo. He came 2 years ago. He came back. I can't remember if we had somebody else from Tupelo. This year we've got Rudy Rez, which is huge. Unfortunately, Rudy's not bowling in the draft league. That'd be freaking cool. But Rudy's out of town so much lately, bowling on tour. Which, if anybody saw, Rudy made bonus bowling this weekend, and I believe he made match play after the 5-game cashers round. I've been so busy today. I have not gotten a chance to see what he did. I hope he did well. Obviously, I hope he did well. He's my trios partner. So, We'll go with that. So I'm going to call Damian over Preston. Michael Corder, Danny. You know what? I don't know if Danny bowled at all during the summer. I know Michael didn't have a great. Last couple times I've seen Michael bowl, he didn't bowl great. But I'm going to have to say at least a 2-1 Michael. I don't know Dylan, so I can't call Dylan. I know Jeff. If Jeff gets on a roll, Jeff is really hard to beat. Hardigan over Justin Turner. Now that's one I don't want to have to call. And the reason why is Timmy, from what I've witnessed lately, Timmy's had 2 great games and maybe not so great a game in every set that I've seen, maybe with the exception of maybe one set. I don't know what Justin's been doing lately, but I know Justin, I mean, this past week he killed them. At least 2 of the games. He shot 290 and a 257. I don't remember what happened middle game. I know Justin bowls with the self-proclaimed greatest lefty in the state, DJ Chaffman. He bowls with a lot of really good bowlers, so I don't know. I'm only gonna give the nod to Timmy, not because I know him, but because I've witnessed him. I've never witnessed Justin. By everything that Chris has told me, he's a really super guy, and he's a fantastic bowler from the scores I remember last year. I just don't know if he's bowled during the summer. Then we have Lucas and Donnie. So I don't know how you vote against Donnie, but if you've seen Lucas on Monday nights, the dude literally hadn't shot below 740. I think he's literally shot like 740, 750, 720, 742. I mean, he's been right there. Only because recently, I'm going to have to say in this particular set, I'm giving it to Lucas. Maybe a 2-1. I hate to even lose money. I'd hate to lose money betting against Donnie. I really do, because then you look like an idiot. But against Lucas, I mean, that's a hard one to call. Right now, I got to give that to Lucas. Then our last matchup. Oh, that's terrible right there. Oh, this is going to be the low game of the week. Trey and Chris. So Chris has been struggling, admittedly so. Now, if he gets it, he's hard to beat. Trey, I don't know if he bowled at all. Picked up a ball. I don't know if he looked at his equipment since May or April of last year. I don't recall when he's bowled the first 2 weeks or the first couple of weeks of the league. And he was out the 1 week because he had to go. Oh wait, you know what? I think Trey is. I'm almost I take that back. Trey is bowling absent. Scott Silvestri is bowling in his place for the next 2 weeks because Trey has to go out of town. I'm going to have to give that one to Silvestri. I'm going to give Silvestri 2-1. Yeah, Donnie Dole over David White. I'm going to have to give that to White. It's either going to be a 2-1 or a sweep. Remember, Trey's not bowling. Trey, I believe, is absent. He's out of work. He's got to go out of town for work, and Silvestri's bowling for him. I still say Silvestri. All right. So I'm going to have to say David White over Donnie, and it's either going to be a 2-1 or a sweep. I don't know Zach Pope. I don't know him. I think he's out of Jonesboro, I believe, which I'm glad to have him added to the league. So, anyway. Over Gavin, I don't know Zach, so I can't call Zach. I'm going to give it to Gavin 2-1. This is another one I don't want to have to call. You got Jesse Hawkins over Brian Kirkendall. I just witnessed Brian kill it for 3 games. And just kind of had a bad 4th game. What, you take Trey's blind? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. Trey's blind is not that high. I think it's only like a 190. No, I don't know. I don't think I'd take Trey's blind. I don't think I would. I think Chris is going to shoot at least 6-0. So I gotta give it. I can't call this one, and I'm not gonna. Because again, it's one of those I'm gonna look like a fool. I don't know what Jesse's been doing. Jesse, I just saw on Facebook a trios tournament where Jesse. I don't know that he won. I think they won. So I don't know. How do you call against Jesse? How do you call against Brian Kirkendall, especially when you just witnessed him just whack him, Friday night? Then you got Justin over Landon. I'm going to have to give a sweep to Justin. I don't know Landon. I'm not knocking Landon. The only thing I've seen of Landon was terrible. And Justin, he shot like, I don't know, 75 honor scores in the last week and a half. So it's at Bartlett. So, yes, I have seen him lately. I have witnessed Chris lately firsthand. I have watched the self-destructive suicide. It's like being on the boat watching the Titanic go down. So, but he's on my team both nights. I kind of hope he, pulls his head out of his ass and does something. So, but either way, I don't think he's going to shoot below 6-0 this week. I just don't. I just don't see it. We shall see. So I'm going to post all this up. Give me a couple minutes. I got to eat dinner. I'm starving. I'm going to post all this up. Next week, we will do a better presentation. I will put it out there sooner. This was like literally last minute. I'm at Lowe's. I'm messaging Kenny saying, hey, I ain't going to be able to do this. I didn't set it up. I didn't test anything. I already had issues Friday, which this Friday, I'm not going to bowl Gary's thing. I'm going to stream it because I want to stream it and get it right. That's a little more important to me than bowling that. I do highly suggest people bowling it because I had a lot of fun doing it. Even though I shot a whopping 360, I think, or 360 or 3. No, I was a little higher. No, it was like 360. The first two games, I don't know what I was doing. I was bowling like some of the juniors were this weekend over in Smyrna. It was terrible. So both were terrible. Some of the Smyrna bowling and my bowling. So anyway, congratulations to Elijah. He bowled exceptionally well. Bella Castillo just embarrassed all the girls. It wasn't even funny. So, all right, I'm going to post this on the website. I'm going to put it on Facebook. Give me about 30 minutes. It'll be up there. And I do have to get more money from people, but I haven't sat down and gone through it. That's my fault. I will get with the team leaders and distribute all that. So until then, thank you guys for tuning in at the last minute. This will be more fun, I promise you. We're going to do a lot more shit talking when we call it. Matter of fact, Kenny and I might do a Who Was Right for the week.